Regina, what would you have to say to people who think that they don't need God?
I would say you don't know what you're missing. I think back on a time when I was on a plane headed home from a conference that I had attended in Jacksonville, Florida, with Christian Healing Ministries. I noticed that there was a man sitting next to me, and he later revealed that he too had been at a conference, but with a much different focus in technology and in science. So we began to discuss some of the differences in why we were there and what we were hearing, and I began to share with him a bit about my faith. He proceeded to tell me that his life was going very well, and he loved every bit of it and was enjoying himself. He was traveling, staying in exotic places, was making great money, was very much in demand in his field. And so, although he could appreciate my faith in God, he just didn't feel a need right now. And he assured me that if he ever felt a need, that he would consider that. As we continued to talk, I asked about his friends or relationships, and he said surprisingly that many of them were Christian. He felt that although they were professional and well educated, they did seem to have a very strong faith in Jesus and in God. And so as the flight continued, there was a moment where we peeked through the clouds on the plane, and the sky was brilliant blue, clear, and the sun was reflecting off the clouds. And I turned and I looked and I said, "Oh, goodness." And my eyes lit up and I had a tremendous smile, and I turned and I looked at him, and he looked out the window and just kind of nodded and said, "Oh." And I looked at him and I said, "I imagine that the two of us are seeing very different things right now." And my heart goes out to people like this young man who think that they have got it all, that they don't need any help, that they're successful and well and blossoming in and of their own right. I think that there's a lack of understanding in people like him, that the journey into Jesus and walking out into the deep with God is not about success or accomplishments or things that can be measured in earthly terms. It is about a wholeness, a peace, a satisfaction, a sense of purpose that only comes in knowing the truth. And for people who feel that they are beyond that because of their own natural talents or abilities, I would encourage them to look a little bit further. Jesus, in his short time here on earth, changed the world forever. He brought about a paradigm shift that had never been experienced before and has never been since then. The tremendous work that he has done globally cannot be compared to anyone else in humanity, whether they're in science or whether they're in technology or medicine. He is the point that we measure time from. And so when you think that you've got it all together, and you think that you don't need any help, maybe you should consider that there's more beyond what you see, what you think, and how you feel. And unless you're willing to explore the life of a man who lived here for a very brief 33 years, you're not interested in knowing the truth. You're not interested in exploring what life on this earth really can be. And so it's with a sympathetic heart that I look at people who either cannot see or cannot hear or even refuse to see and refuse to hear. And my heartfelt prayer is the Lord sends people across their paths that can love them where they are and help them to see how much more magnificent life can really be. Jesus is not something that you try on. He is something. He is someone that is. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And there is no love. There is nothing here on earth that can compare to him.